Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit on Hitler and Subhash Chandra Bose and Mahatma Gandhi. Now, to me, Hitler is not a villain. Of course, he murdered people, right? I mean, I'm not denying that. To me, as a singleist, I consider Subhash Chandra Bose and Ambedkar as our heroes, right? Now, Mahatma Gandhi worked with the whites against the blacks in South Africa. And if you take the Bengal famine, Hitler is indirectly responsible for the Bengal famine. I mean, not very actively, but he under his leadership, there were certain restrictions, and from what I understand, and there was taking over of food. There was confiscation of food and things like that. Now, Mahatma Gandhi worked with Hitler, not Hitler, Churchill, indirectly. So, for the singleist, Mahatma Gandhi is not a hero. For the singleist, he is Subhash Chandra Bose, or at least for me, as a singleist, for me, it is Subhash Chandra Bose and Ambedkar. They are the heroes, right? If the Tamils want to celebrate Mahatma Gandhi, that's up to them. I mean, we should not stop that, right? Now, Subhash Chandra Bose worked with Germany and Japan for independence, right? And when his killing or his death is a mystery, whether he died in a plane crash or whether he died in Stalin's one of the prisons is not clear. They say he died in a plane crash, but if you look at JFK murder and Epstein so-called suicide, then I don't think we should accept what these official versions, right? So Hitler tried to colonize. Hitler's war was Hitler was war of colonization of Greater Europe. So Hitler's greatest achievement was to colonize Britain. Then only the British realized the evils of colonization. So that's how I look at Hitler, right? That's his contribution. So his greatest achievement was to try to colonize Europe, colonize Britain. Then only some of the people in Britain. And because of the so-called Second World War, Hitler's war of colonization, Greater Europe, Britain became bankrupt. After that, this decolonization process took place. It accelerated. So Hitler, because of his murderous action, he contributed to decolonization of the world. But then he created a United Nations colony in West Asia. So I went to the internet and I searched this United Nations colony, and I got a severe backlash. They say the United Nations doesn't have colonies. That's not true. Okay, they might say some sophisticated international law and say that. I heard this. Some of the people in South always try to respect the international law. We didn't create the international law. So if there's something wrong in the international law, we should say that. So for the singleists, we have to study a little bit more on Ambedkar and Subhash Chandra Bose, right? And I think Subhash Chandra Bose, some of the Subhash Chandra Bose things are hidden. What he did and what he did not, it is not put into prominence. So we have to, in the South, we have to see that, right? So for me, at least for me, Hitler, I don't consider as a villain, but he murdered a lot of people. But my understanding of decolonization process, he's a single. I mean, he didn't mean to do that. He meant to decolonize Europe. If he had colonized Europe, then he would have controlled the world. So the problem Hitler did was he invaded Russia. So that is the biggest problem. If he had not invaded, if he had some kind of pact, which Germany had a pact with Stalin in the beginning, right? If he had honored that pact, it would have been different. So, but Hitler is not a villain for us because he tried to colonize Britain. Then only people in Britain realize how evil colonization is, right? So I am going to use the term United Nations colony. United Nations is object to that. They said we didn't do that, right? Legally they may be true, but legal things are something you know how the lawyers argue, and even how judges also when they give judgments, how they write the judgment, So with two-stage logic, you can distort the law the way you like it. So that I will not go into much. So I was thinking about what is happening to the Palestinian people and the role of United Nations in enslaving the Palestinian people. And so this is my views that I think we should have a different interpretation of the history, and especially the contribution of Hitler. Okay, so I spoke about Ambedkar, I spoke about Mahatma Gandhi, I spoke about SUBASH, CHANDRA BOSE and Ambedkar, Mahatma Gandhi, Churchill, and to us, Hitler is not a black character. He is a murderer. To me, it's a dark character. Okay, shades of grey, very dark shade of grey. But I think we should rewrite history. And I'm saying there was no Second World War.